All right, give me 1 second. Okay, how's that? Is that much better? Is the audio much more wonderful and crisp and non-destructive to your precious earlobes? Either way, you know where you're at, and if you don't, welcome to Sketching Past Midnight Live, the place where we talk about all things comics, sci-fi, horror, fantasy, pop culture, and everything in between, and in particular things that go bump in the night, and going a step further, talking about Wildcat and everything about Wildcat, which is, for those that don't know, Wildcat is one of my wacky doodle creations, and we'll talk more about that later. Um, I've got all kinds of cool things lined up, maybe potentially in terms of Indiegogos and anthologies, a Wildcat, not a Wildcat, but a Batman. What do you call it? A Nightfall Batman that I've been doing. As always, give me a little bit and I'll check the comment section if anybody's commenting. If nobody comments, that's okay, because usually when I do these shows, they're pretty late at night. It is currently well, I don't have my phone with me, but it's 1800 Kentucky time. So I think that's like, what is that, 7 or 8 o'clock, give or take. I don't know. So I'm going to play you the ad for the Indiegogo campaign. And I really want you to check this out. In case you don't know, the project that I've been working on for the past few years with about 10 of my wonderful friends. We've all been working together, creating this thing called the Wildcat Anthology. It's like 6 different creative teams. One big, awesome book, 80 pages. This thing's got 80 plus pages of Wildcat mayhem, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So I'll give you a little taste, and then we'll head on over to the art board and check out what I'm drawing there. So let me click some buttons. All right. I managed to do it. Look at all this Hollywood magic that I'm unveiling for you all, multiple cameras and all this nifty stuff. I decided just to kind of goof off and experiment. I didn't know how anything would play out, but here we are. Okay. Welcome, friends. And just a quick reminder, the Wildcat Anthology comic is on Indiegogo right now. We've got less than 20 days to get this book funded. So I'd really appreciate, all of you coming and checking it out and backing the book. That's the most important thing. All right, let me get my tools handy, get my mind in the right space. I'm going to start inking this. It's not finished. We still got poor old Robin here in the corner that's not entirely done. I guess I'll finish him last. But the thing I've learned is it's important to finish your work first before you start inking it, because you run into some trouble. That's when it gets you. but I don't care. I just I want to do something, just to do something and get it out there. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Vern? And I love these pens, these Sharpie S gel pens. I know you can't really tell because the camera's just doing its thing. Focus on this camera. There we go. Beautiful. That's a beautiful zoom. You could take a picture of that and then put it in the magazine. All right. Quick comment in this where I'm at. It is evening. The most fantastic Sideburns says good morning, CV. And for those that don't know, Sideburns is also one of the contributors of the I was getting ready to say 100 Days Making Comics. Uh, having flashbacks here, but he's also one of the contributors to the Wildcat Anthology. And he's got a 13-page banger of a story in it. We've got witches and cards coming to life. And so I'm sure that you're all going to enjoy that as much as I did. So what we're looking at here is Nightfall Batman. I really like this Batman. It came out in the 90s, and it's when Image was really hot. And they were eating up the market share, and I think they became the #2 company, knocking DC Comics down to #3, with Marvel, of course, being #1. But so they did a lot of cool stuff where they broke Batman's back. They replaced him with this guy who kept adding armor and stuff, and all these neat things. And you had Superman got his well, he didn't get his back broken. They killed Superman. It was a big deal. It made the news. and then they had the Reign of Superman, where there was like 4 or 5 different people that you didn't know who was the real Superman. You have somebody that looked like it was a clone of Superman called Superboy, and then you had somebody that looked like they came back from the dead, and another guy who could shoot power blast, that maybe that was Superman. And then you had another guy look like he came back from the dead. He was Cyborg Superman. And then you had the Man of Steel, which was this guy in this whole big steel outfit and stuff like that. And so, out of those bunch, there's like 2 or 3 that you really had to question who the real Superman was. But anyway, really cool time at DC Comics in comics in general. Our amazing friend Landon Huber, hope I'm pronouncing your last name right. I'm a butcherer of names. Says, hey dude, how's it going? It's going great. I'm really, really happy that you're here and hanging out with me, and hopefully we'll have a little bit of fun. I don't think I'm going to be streaming long tonight. The family went and ducked out for a bit, so I'm like, I'm going to live stream what time they're gone, and take advantage of that and multitask. I'm a guy that likes to eat cake and keep it too. Or what is that expression? It doesn't matter. When I'm live streaming going a million miles an hour, it's hard to think of these things. So, should I get my nibs out? I feel like I should get my nibs. I'm going to need scrap paper. Luckily, I don't know if you can tell here, but I've got I got this printout. No, guys, listen to me before you judge. These are watercolors that I just slapped on here just for the fun of it, just a cheap watercolor set. I was just kind of thinking, but then I realized that there was a guy at DC who has that kind of same outfit and stuff on and whatever. But so Dr. Terror's outfit would probably be black. I just want to slop stuff down there, but I'll use this for scrap paper. How's that? And I get my nibs, and we'll rock and roll. Get my ink. I need my ink. Let's see. Probably need my brushes too. All that good stuff, if I can find them. Okay, I got nibs. I got dibs on the nibs. And I've returned with some nibs. I got some ink here. I've actually used what is that ink? I can't remember. It's like Speedball. I think that ink gets used more for doing tattoos than it does making comics, but people use it for making comics too. It's a kind of an either or situation. So I took this Walmart ink, and when it emptied, I had this big bottle of Speedball. It's like this big, and I pour a little bit in here because I can take this anywhere I want to, with work with me or something like that. And it's just handy and convenient. It's not bulky, and when I run out, I can just refill. You always want to shake your ink. Of course, you all know that. Let's see. And what I want to do, I feel like I need to. I'm going to pull a chair close here. I'm going to take. I'm going to rip this paper. I know I am. What's this in the back? Oh, it's another test page. I'm going to throw ink on these test pages. So I hope you're all doing good. I know I'm talking to me and Miles a minute, just getting situated and getting everything ready. And these brushes ain't ready because I need to clean them. Very inconvenient. And I promise once I get organized, I actually start to ink here. I think my brain waves will start to get in a good pattern, There we go. Let me move this out of the way. I don't want to get it. I don't want to get no alcohol on it. So answer a few questions here. Our excellent friend Landon wants to know what nibs do you use? Well, to be honest, I'm the worst guy to ask about this because I'm just now starting to learn to use these things. I have mixed results with them. I bought a cheap set from Amazon, and it came with two handles. And I think it came with like 4 or 5 nibs. And I like to use these two. This one, let me see if I can get situated here. I can't remember what brand. Again, this is just like a really cheap brand. This is a 005. And I got another one over here that I just threw down and I've lost it. It is, if I can pull her out here, these little boogers are sharp. Oosh. This one is a 001. I know you can't see that. I never will get that back in there. Oh, I did. I'm full of crap. But I like these two out of the bunch of nibs. I feel like they do the best. So far anyway. And what I really want to do is, Del Keon, I want to use whatever he was inking with when he was doing Pitt for Image Comics, roughly issue 4, issue 3, somewhere in there. And when he was doing the cross hatching and stuff like that, I was told that he used nibs. And he had these perfectly straight lines across, and it was magnificent, So wow, I want to be able to do that, and maybe he used a pen for some of that. I don't know. Probably a little both. But these are just cheap Amazon nibs and stuff like that. I'm also I'm going to invest in whatever size nib that Dale Keon used, and I'm also going to probably invest in a good brush, the one that's recommended by, like, How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. Will Avenger is here with us, and he says, Nightfall was a lot of fun. Hey, CB. Indeed, breaking the metal. Let's see. All right. Well, let us begin here. I'm getting nervous already. I think what I want to do is do the small details. I'm dipping my ink, testing it out here, and I recommend, as an amateur here, by the way, to have a scrap piece of paper handy and just kind of dip your brush, dip your nib on that, rather than just going in and drawing in cold, because you don't know what will happen. Worst the worst, that sort of thing. All right, I gotta focus. Let's see. Oh shoot! I don't like that. I'm getting sloppy. All right, this is one of the reasons I like the nibs. Is you can press down and get a fat butt, and then ease the pressure and get a thinner line. So it's, I can't explain it, but like, I mean, I can explain the motion, but I'm trying to explain to you what it looks like. I don't have things quite zoomed in here. I got this very imperfect zooming, so it makes it hard or difficult to see what it is I'm doing. My apologies. The cross hatching that I'm doing here lately, I'm kind of experimenting with. I really love Philip Tan's art right now. He is phenomenal. He's one of my favorite artists at this moment in time, at this juncture. I feel like he just, I don't know, his cross hatching is just all over the place. There's like no rhyme or reason to it other than just to add shade to an area, and he's not particular. A lot of artists that there's certain angles that they will not use when they're cross hatching, and it kind of it messes with things. Okay, this is the best way to go about it. Just some ink. There we go. Where was that? Right here. There we go. Might as well get the rest of these since I already got the paper turned at this angle. And I'm going to remind people that's just now tuning in that I have an Indiegogo going on right now with less than 20 days. Less than 20 days to get this thing going, And I encourage you to back it today. If you've not got paid yet, you've not saved up your shekels, then please do so now, because time is running out. If you don't like my art, there are 6 different creative teams on this book, and chances are one of your newfound favorite indie artists are contributors to this thing, to this 80-page monster, 80+ page beast, phenom. You didn't see none of that inking. Let's turn it back around. Our excellent friend Landon writes, so how did you come to do the anthology? How did you meet the collaborators? What's your story? Oh man. Well, let's see. Well, some of these collaborators I knew before the anthology. All of them, we befriended each other online, you know, from seeing each other's YouTube channels and that sort of thing. And basically, I'm terrible at telling stories sometimes, and I always end up circling back 20 times. So you must forgive me if I leave anything out. But why ain't I getting ink on this thing? It's a tragedy. About 3 years ago, maybe longer, maybe less, I had a Indiegogo campaign for my comic book, Wildcat. It was going to be the first issue. I had it drawn, I had it inked, and I had it colored all by me. And, you know, everything was going well. I managed to raise about a little over $600 for it, and I'm very thankful to everyone that did. And then, you know, the campaign, it came and went. You know, it didn't work out. You know, it didn't get funded. It had a you know, a $1,500 goal, just like this time. And you know, nobody really backed it. And it's sort of like, and I know this seems unrelated, but it is related. You know, I did a poll after the crushing defeat, you know, asking people, you know, why didn't they back it? Not in a why didn't you back this? More like in a, hey, how come you didn't back this book? I would like to know. You know, I asked people, you know, did they not like the character? Did they think the art was terrible? A whole big, you know, plethora of questions, you know. But the biggest thing that I learned, to my surprise, was that one of the big reasons people did not back the book was they did not know that it was even out. And I felt like I did a good job on, like on Twitter and a few other places, letting people know about it. But, you know, when people tell you you didn't do a good job, you have to kind of listen to that, you know. So after that failure, I kind of retreated a little bit because it's a bit of a blow, you know, or at least it was for me, in a sense that, you know, I desperately want to get my comic book career started, and I know $1,500 is not a you know, it ain't nothing, you know, in terms of making a living, and I don't mean to be dismissive about that either, but it's sort of like I don't know. I'm trying to think how to put it into words. I was viewing the success of that first Indiegogo as a stepping stone. You know, like, okay, if I can fund this, then I can build momentum. I can get that book out, and if I do a good job, I'll get more readers, and then I can put a second book out, and it'll fund more. And then eventually, maybe I get to a place to where I can just quit my job and draw comics for a living. And so it was kind of a blow, you know, because that meant that I wasn't ready yet, you know, for one reason or another. And so what ended up happening is after I licked my wounds and pulled myself together, I started working on the reboot of that failed Wildcat comic. This reboot is called Wildcat Dead Man Walking. Okay. And basically, it's a retelling of that first issue, but done better, more visually impactful. It's got a long-term storyline that's more well thought out and all this good stuff, you know. And I was streaming one day, and I'm circling back to answer your question, Landon. I know it took a long time to get there, but I was streaming online one day, and I was just talking to people as I was working on this reboot of the first issue. And I was like, hey, you know, one day, if hypothetically Wildcat ever became successful, just saying, you know, maybe never. It may never be successful. Who knows? But one day, should that ever happen, you know, I would love to do like a second book of Wildcat, and call that like the Savage World of Wildcat. And I would basically, you know, hire a creative team to take it over, and I could take my time on the main book, Wildcat, and then it would free me up to actually do other stories, other books that I want to do. I have Monster Patrol. I've got Super American, and a whole bunch of other things that I'm wanting to do, you know. And so that way, fans, if Wildcat ever took off, they would get their feel of Wildcat continuously. And as I was talking about that, and I was like, you know, it would be cool to do like an anthology book. That was another idea I had, you know, where everybody could work on Wildcat and all this other stuff, and then somehow, you know, my memory on how this all unfolded might be a bit fuzzy or wrong, but people started chiming in the chat like, hey, I'd like to do that. You know, get up with me or something, you know. I'm like, what? People are crazy. And so I had a couple people do that, and then it got the wheels turning. And at the time, I was not having much luck with the Wildcat Dead Man Walking story, because I got stuck. I got stuck at a certain story point, and I couldn't go no further. You know, I couldn't draw nothing. I felt like I drew everything that could be drawn. And so I started working on the anthology, and everybody else started working on the anthology, and then more people came in and contributed, and it took on a life of its own. But some of these contributors I met before the anthology, and then some of them I met afterward. You know, it's this weird snowballing thing that just kind of happens, and you you just gotta hang on for dear life and try your best to enjoy the ride. It's really cool. And even though it can be very stressful at times, very stressful for me, because I'm a sensitive man. I'm very sensitive. Um, I'm glad that I've done the anthology, no matter how this turns out, no matter, because I feel like, you know, I've gotten better as an artist. You know, I mean, like, I feel like this tells a good story. You know, I'm getting better with letters, word balloons. I'm getting better with um, layouts, you know, and telling a story and stuff like that. Um, no, I didn't do these gray tones. If that's what you're thinking, oh, your gray tones are awesome. No, no, no. That was R.J. Johnston did that. You know, fantastic work. But I feel like working on the anthology has made me a better artist, and I don't know, it's just it's improved me in a lot of different ways. And so I would definitely do it again in a time travel scenario. Let's see. I got Nickelback in my head for some reason. On speed dial and a na na in the good cause. Na 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 da na 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 need. Stay something skinny and I want na need and a hey hey I wanna be a rock star. Hey hey I wanna be a comic artist. Look at this photograph. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Will Avenger. He might not want me to say this, but he's the one that got me into liking Nickelback in the first place because you know when Nickelback first came out, it was like Nickelback. You know, it's just it's rough stuff. It's girly music, and and when you listen to their albums, they usually have like three ballads on them or something like that. But man, that's how those guys. That's how they make their money. I guess if I had to choose between living in a poorhouse or writing ballads, I guess I'd go with ballads. Better than flipping burgers. Save that metal street cred for people that want to starve for their art. But anyway, yeah, he got me into it because like they have like really heavy songs on all their albums. They usually have like three heavy songs on their albums and some so-so songs and then like three ballads. And it's just really good stuff. It's very enjoyable. When and they have like the some of the best sound production. It's like ridiculous. It's like they must have listened to the Black album, Metallica's Black album, over and over. Like, hey, we want our album to sound massive like this, but louder. And so, like, you could turn up the heavy songs of Nickelback in your car, da-na-na-na-na, dun-dun, dun-dun, and then the bass is just thumping, and it's just, oh, it's great. Such great production values. So yeah, I ended up really liking Nickelback. So when I go, sometimes, you know, when I'm going to class, go do my het keto thing, I can get pumped up on some of the heavy songs. Um, I mean, if it's a challenge in my street cred here, I mean, I got Megadeth and Metallica and Pantera and Ozzy Osbourne and Black Sabbath in the car and some Rob Zombie and different things. But some of you be like, but CB, that's not Emperor, that's not Slayer, that's that's not insert heavier bands here. Well, I guess not. I guess not. In a knitting alone. Na 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 na. The drugs come easy and the girls come cheap. Na 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 na. Hey, hey, I want to be a comic artist. Ashton Jackal, our fantastic buddy, is here with us. Hey, CB. Hello, good friend. Glad that you're here as well. Tung, 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 tung. This Bang Comics says, "Sup, man? How are you doing as well?" I am. I'm on page 40 something of the story. You know what I'm talking about. I've read 40 pages of it so far. It's really cool. I love the what I like most about it, about the thing that you wrote is the interperson, the dynamics between the characters and the dialogue. There's some really great dialogue in there here and there. Like, now I don't mean there's really good dialogue all through it, but there's some really zingers in there and they stand out. It's pretty cool. Very cool. If y'all like that, you should check out an album I did a couple years back called The Enclave Soul. Okay, do you have it on YouTube? I'll look it up later. I will look it up later. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Getting ready to move to Tennessee. All right. We'll be sort of neighbors. I'll just be north of you. Very cool. Very cool. I think if I did move somewhere, I would like to move to Tennessee, like somewhere like Gatlinburg, or Pigeon Forge. Probably more Pigeon Forge because it's a little bit smaller than Gatlinburg and not as crowded. But you have the benefits of civilization and stuff, but then also a great blend of nature and things like that. My nibs quit working. That's the thing with nibs. They do what they want. You have to be like a master craftsman to uh, get them to behave the way they're supposed to. See. Landon says, "Yeah, it's on YouTube." All right, awesome. I'll check it out later. I wrote it down so I can remember. Comics says, "Thanks, brother." You're welcome. It's every bit true. It's really cool. I was really. This sounds egotistical of me to say this, but I don't mean it in a like above anybody else way, but like just like somebody just reading something like, "Oh, this is really good." It's like, wow, I really like that. There's some really subtle, um, real stuff. There's real stuff, you know. East Tennessee Jackal, I'm here. Da-da, da-da-da. Landon says, I've done different styles. My first solo album is Creature of Emotion. Also was in a rap rock group called Robots in the Zone. Also did another more fun album called Hole in the Wall or Hole in the Wall Gang. Very cool. Very cool. Check out a playlist on YouTube. All right, will do. I will. I will. Okay. You know, this inking looks a little bit better in person. Than how it does on camera. On camera, it must look horrific. I mean, this turned out pretty good, I think. I feel like, oh yeah. There's some lines I missed here. Let's see. Butchered it, but that's okay. Boom, 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 boom. You want to know who does some pretty tight stuff with a nib that I've seen? Um, our good friend Peter DeLuca, aka Pad. I think he does some pretty tight work with a nib. And on his website, on I don't know if it's akapad.com. I can't remember what it is right off the top of my head. He actually does some pretty tight ink work over other people's pencils. It's like really impressive. And you know that's not even talking about his drawing ability, you know, which is equally as cool. I may have to give the nib a break because it's not wanting to do the thing that it's wanting to do, and I can't get too happy with it because if I do that, then I'll make mistakes like that. Look is cool. Oh, look who it is. It's our awesome friend, Lion Tiger Man 23. He says, "Hey, yo, nice work." In my poor attempt at doing Australian. I love Australian accent, you know, the really thick accent. I mean, I have an accent too, you know, but I don't think it sounds as charming as an Australian accent, you know. I remember at one point I used to have it down really tight. I really did. I can't do it now to save my life, but it seemed like used to be this beer commercial for Foster's. This guy would come on, he'd be like, "Foster's, it's Australian for beer." And then I learned that, you know, some Australians call gasoline, they call it petrol, you know. I'd be out mowing, weed eating, you know, doing that sort of thing, and I'd just be goofing off like, "I'm taking my weed whacker here, and I got my petrol in here." But anyway, yeah. Sometimes I like to do impressions, and sometimes that they're pretty good, and then other times they're terrible. You know, that's a somewhat decent one. I try to do a Russian accent, and that's terrible. Um, Sometimes I can do a halfway decent Sean Connery, but I have to really uh, focus to get that going the way it should be. Man, this nib just don't want to work. It's going to have to grow up and realize that, hey, CB is in the house and I require this thing to do the thing that I need it to do. That's just how it is. You know what I need? I need my secret weapon. I hope this ain't dried out. I actually had it put up. I didn't want my boy Cooper to get into it. I got introduced to these brushes from Will Avenger. He's hip into all of the drawing tools. This thing does really awesome work. So let's try that out and see if I can avoid mucking things up too badly. All right, what am I going to do here? See if I go this way. Let me test my brush strokes. Okay, so I better be calculating here. I think what I'll do is I'll do an outline. I like those thick outlines. Well, what's his face? I feel like his name is Mike Wendigo. Mike, where Indigo? You know, he used to do Sensational Spider-Man. I think something called Talos. Um, Fantastic Four with Mark Waid, and you know he died like it's probably been over 10 years now when he passed away. I really cannot remember exactly when. I think he's one of these people that was a well-liked artist. Sideburns writes, I like markers more. That I get sick of nibs easily. I could see why. You know, I'm just doing this video. You know, I'm trying to ink, and it's like the nibs are fighting me the whole time. You know, because I'm trying to get them to take ink, and then I'm trying to keep them from splurging too much ink, and you know the whole 9 yards. But the thing I've learned about nibs so far is they give me a certain result that I really like, and I really like that '90s um, work that they were doing with the nibs, where you're getting these fat butts but skinny tips, you know, type of lines. What I've been trying to do here, you know, I like that. Golly, feel this paper; it's all scratched up. But I like that stuff, you know. Um, so you know, I try to use a combination of things. I got these Copics. I call them EVS pens because apparently this is what he uses to ink all his stuff, and he does really tight inking. And but his inking doesn't really have, and this ain't me being mean. His inking don't really have style. It's more like his line consistency is perfect in the sense of like you know it's you know. He's not doing any bad lines, but the thing is, he's not getting thick to thin type of lines, and I try to get a little bit of thick to thin, you know, because it looks aesthetically pleasing. Sometimes I pull that off, other times I don't. Landon writes, those brushes work pretty good, but they have a tendency to put out a little too much ink. Nothing beats a Winsor Newton Series 7. Well, that was one of the brushes I was talking about earlier in the video that I'd like to get, you know, and I always get confused because they don't just call them Winsor Newton Series 7. That they got like these names that they add on to it, and then I second guess myself. Like I don't want to spend this money buying this brush unless I know that this is the one that I need to use, you know. So I ended up not buying anything because I'm looking for like a specific name. Uh, Our most fantastic friend Peter Retro Palmiotti is here with us. He says nothing beats a nib, and he should know. He is the inker extraordinaire, professional who has done it, and who would know it better than anyone else. And that's not me being sarcastic; it's me being theatrical. Let's see here. I like these thick outlines just because they make things pop. But let's see. I need. No, I don't want to do that. But I did it. I know you can't. I know you guys couldn't see this, but my inking was going a little bit rogue, but that's okay. I'll make up for it somehow, some way. And I know I'm not exactly being consistent with where I'm inking at. I'm just kind of, all right. The way I would describe it, my approach to inking is that, um, um, like if I have a certain tool, I try to use that tool wherever I see that it needs to be used. So like if I see, something that I could just black out, I like to use this. Um, if I see something that's organic, some organic lines, I think brushes are really great for organic lines and, things like that. And also you can get some really interesting, um, let me go up here. You can get some really interesting little jagged things that I really like. I know you can't see that really well, but I like how you can get that kind of little jagged business. It's weird. But then, nibs, I think nibs give you that, um, that fat bottom to skinny tip. Um, I wonder if I pulled that off here somewhere. Okay. Um, on this one, like right here on this ab, fat bottom to skinny tip. I like that. It's just, I don't know. I mean, this might not be the best cross hatching in the world, but yeah, yeah. I think this will look better once I get everything outlined and stuff like that. Then it'd be like, oh, this ain't too bad. And then if I feel comfortable with how this right here looks, I'll black this out. If I'm not too chicken, um, because sometimes when you draw stuff and you shade it, um, indicating where you want it blacked out, it actually looks better with the pencil line work going back and forth than it does being absolute black. And other times it could be the reverse. So to experiment, I always like to, sometimes I'll do this before I absolutely black something out because that kind of looks neat, I think. But again, I'm not a professional inker, but I like to use different tools for different situations, and that's the reason I kind of hop all over the page, like his little breast window or whatever it is, where he's got that light. I think this is really good for some organic line work. Maybe it's kind of turning out so, but that's okay. And I apologize, guys, if I'm getting quiet. Usually, like if I'm trying not to mess up and I'm not thinking deeply about something, I'll get quiet for a second. I especially do this when I'm penciling. There's no way I could talk as much as I am right now if I was penciling because you have to use like a creative part of your brain and make choices. You're constantly making choices. I feel like with inking, I just need to focus on capturing what I put down on paper, and in some cases, actually doing something better than what I put on paper. Yeah. Let's see. Peter writes, flatline where it gets boring. What Landon said, Winsor Newton is good. Raphael's are even better. Seemed like I read something about that in the Amazon comics. Comment, comment down below. Comment. There we go. There we go. Comment. In the Amazon comments, I feel like I've read somewhere somebody mentioning like Raphael's or something like that, which I don't know what the heck Raphael is, and I'm barely acquainted with the idea of what a Winsor Newton is because I've heard about Winsor Newtons, for a big chunk of my life, but I've never uh, acquired one. Windsor Newton Series 7, number 2 or 3 round. All right. Thank you, good sir. I appreciate that. And then he says Raphael 8404 is the other one. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. I know I don't sound like being authentic. It's just, you know, I am being sincere. Peter writes, it's a cool piece, CB. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm trying to I am trying to draw more stuff that I feel is attention getters, because right now people don't know who Wildcat is from a hill of beans, you know, and they don't know who I am either. They should. Everybody knows I'm fantastic, but for some reason they don't. So to correct that, I need to draw stuff that people are familiar with, even though this isn't the most familiar thing. I think a lot, I think a lot of people who see Batman nowadays probably wouldn't have a clue what this is. You know, my obsession with the '90s. But you know, mainly my obsession with the '90s is more the look than anything. I mean, like, I think the writing was pretty good in the '90s. It wasn't like spectacular, you know, but there was some great writing in the '90s too, you know. But I feel like inks, colors, pencil work. That's the reason I bring that up a lot, you know. I felt like it set a standard, and that standard has not been met ever since, you know. Everybody's in, all the major companies have embraced this indie look, and the indie look is cool for indie books because that's what makes them different. But once you start doing that in the mainstream comics, it takes away, it just takes something away. It's a big step back for mainstream comics, and for some reason they're just obsessed with trying to be like Image Comics. You know, when Image Comics gave up trying to be, you know, '90s Marvel, you know, because all the guys that were working on those books got tired and fatigued and gave up, which is a shame. It's a shame. It's all about balance, indeed. I am I am the most unbalanced person. I think I got overall good philosophy on things, but just poor execution. That's my problem. CB, poor execution, Smallwood. Never hits what he aims at. Bum, bum, bum. Drink my water. And for anyone just tuning in, I just want to remind you that the Wildcat Anthology comic is live on Indiegogo. Back that today. Because there is only, there's less than 20 days, maybe less than 19. I can't remember how many there is now, but definitely less than 20. And we have a $1,500 goal, which is extremely achievable. We've raised currently $460 so far. And it's an 80-page book with 6 different creative teams, 10 people that's worked on this thing in one capacity or another. You're not going to regret it. You know, you're going to get something that's going to have fun little whimsical ads in it. You know, it's going to have, of course, awesome Wildcat stories in it, a little bit horror themed. It's just full of nonstop action. And you're getting some of the really cool up and coming indie comic creators that are out there. And can you imagine if you got some of the early work of like Jim Lee as it was happening, or Jack Kirby, or insert your favorite artist here, and you can be at the ground floor of that right now. You don't have to wait any longer. You know, these people are here. They're alive today. Well, not, you know, not Jack Kirby and stuff like that, and not necessarily in reference to Jim Lee, but just in terms of talent of who these people are going to become, who they already are. And you can discover that and more, in this collector's item that has the first appearance of Wildcat, the first appearance of Dr. Terror, and of Fish Boy. So don't miss out on that. It's a great opportunity. That at Sideburns Dude is in it. And grab a copy now while supplies last. All right, now this is where it's going to get crappy, because this is the thing that always kills me, is because I know that when I go to ink this, it's either going to look really good, it's going to look bad, because the pencil work is kind of like that, and so my eye likes that because there is a hue of light to dark to light. But once you ink something, you lose that, and that's the reason you do cross hatching in the first place, is to maintain that. So should I cross hatch it? No. The answer is no. I'm just gonna black it out. I can always, use whiteout, or get fancy with it and just do like some line work with a white gel pen, and see if I can do something with that. Oh, I kind of got sidetracked. I'm very, very sorry, guys. Earlier, I was talking. It was brought up as to this being a cool piece, and I was trying to explain what I was doing. That basically I'm trying to draw more stuff that people are familiar with. And I guess I covered that fairly well, but to go a little bit more into it, I'm going to do more of that. Try to, um, so I can build an audience, and so I can get better. Like, instead of being stuck trying to figure out a Wildcat story all day, and because I'm wanting to do perfection, and write this big magnus opus and get my vision out there. um, I need to be drawing, because visually that vision's never going to be put out there until I acquire the skills to do it, and the only way to do it is to draw comics. And that didn't turn out too bad. I can maybe, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Well, the verdict's not out on it yet. I need to whatever with that. Um, I'm going to try to draw more stuff that I love, things that really get me pumped and excited, things I grew up on that I think is really cool that I'm not seeing a lot of anymore, and I guess, to get philosophical, if you allow me to do that for a minute. I had alluded to on one of the live streams, might have been Marsha's live stream. That Marsha's makes comics. Awesome dude. You're all awesome, but he's awesome too. And I was on his live stream, and I was telling him and the audience about, like, this guy I discovered on Facebook whose name I cannot remember. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names. I can't pronounce them. I can't remember them. I remember faces though, so I got that going for me. But this guy on YouTube, he had some pretty good art, but what really drew me to him is his videos talking about, we're roughly about the same age, and his trying to learn from his mistakes, and how he got to where he's at, and it's really helpful stuff. And well, one of the big things that I'm struggling with now, as an artist, is that I am impatient. Like, I'm what do you call it? A midlife crisis? Is that's what's happening here? But I'm like 40. It just snuck up on me. Here I am. Here this is. It's like, shoot, dang it. And and I have not accomplished my goal yet of being a comic artist in a my definition of a comic artist is somebody that draws comics for a living that makes money off of it. You know, the fame and stuff, I assume comes with that, because if you're making money, more or less, people know you or whatever. But the big thing, to be truthful, to be honest, is, I want to have a career doing this. I'm tired of working for people that don't appreciate it. They'll work you to the bone. They'll tell you good job, but they won't give you the money that goes with the good job. You know what I mean? And but this ain't a woe is me thing. It's basically, I got myself to blame. There's probably been times in my life when, instead of just goofing off, wasting time, or daydreaming about being this or doing that, or whatever, I should have been drawing. You know. Now, to be fair, where I live at, there ain't comic book conventions nearby until recently, and so I didn't have access to all the people that have the knowledge about how to make a comic, or how to get good at making comics. But also, I didn't use the internet beforehand, which is, again, my fault, because I'm a very, like, right now, I'm very sociable, I feel like. But when I'm asked to go on live streams, or when I interact with people, and all this other stuff, on social media, I get, I don't know, it's stressful for me. It is extremely stressful, because my whole life, I say or do the wrong things, and I don't mean to, because I really don't understand people. Not because I'm above people. It's just that I'm always one step behind other people. So, if that makes sense, social interactions, and that's hurt me throughout my life. And what I've learned is to kind of put a little bit of a wall up, a little bit of distance, so that way I don't hurt nobody, and I don't push nobody away, and all this other stuff. And it's hard to learn and understand social cues, and then also pro- pro- promote your comic. It's, gosh, crazy. But anyway, back on point. This guy on Facebook, yada yada yada, giving good advice, yada yada yada, and I got this very impatient thing of, wanting to have a career now, and that type of deal, yada yada yada. And it's like, like I said, I got nobody else to blame but me. I accept responsibility for that. It's just one of those things that happen. Um, but having said that, though, getting to the positive note of how the guy's videos have been helpful, is that, he just talked about, like, how he just focused on making comics. Or, I didn't really see sequentials from him, but he did. He does a lot of the pinup stuff. Basically what I'm doing right now. But uh, where is it? Where the hell that ain't come from? You see that? Whatever. I bet, you know what that's from. That's when I put this paper on here. I bet that's what that is. Maybe, I don't know. It don't matter. That's it's like a birthmark now. It adds charm to it. So, but this guy on Facebook is basically, just let go of trying to make money, trying to do this, trying to do that. He just focused on trying to make good art, and just putting stuff out there, and just enjoying the process of making art. And sometimes when you're like me, and you're trying to make a go of it, and have a career and that sort of thing, you kind of lose sight of that. And so, one of my big goals, whether uh, whether whether the anthology succeeds or not, which I think it will. Can't say for certain, you know. I don't want to get my hopes up, you know, because it hurts when it fails. It really hurts, really bad. But but whether it succeeds or fails, you know, I want to focus more on just putting great art out there and just not worrying about if anyone likes it or enjoys it. I mean, of course, I want people to enjoy it, but um, I want to get to a place where I just enjoy doing it. And I feel like if I get to that place and I have joy in my heart with creating art, then other people will see my art and they will enjoy it too. And you can't see what I'm inking. I'm sorry. um, so that's what I want to do. And I feel like, in my opinion, that the more you do something, the better you're going to get at it. The more you do something, you're bound to get the results that you want. And for me, I guess when I'm arguing about and when I'm arguing might not be the best word. What I'm advocating for is basically to just let go and just make comics and just put them out there. Just make comics, and I really wish that I could have like a machine, like some software where I can just upload um, my art, and it can upload to all the social medias I have, and then it could respond to people's questions on my behalf, and I would never know about it. So that way I'm never tempted to look and see how many people like something or retweeted something or you know, all that stuff. You see what I mean? I would just like to just dump it and leave it and just move on, you know. And so I feel pretty good in that regard, you know. I'm going to try really hard to get into a brand new headspace and make some changes, much needed changes, because it's not healthy to, you know, chase something to the point to where it's being, you know, detrimental to you mentally. And you know, for anyone watching, you know, you might be saying, CB, so you're saying that you shouldn't care about what you're doing? No, 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 no. You should absolutely care, you know. But what I'm saying is, um, you should first and foremost have a lot of love in your heart for what you're doing, and that passion, that love and passion. I think it should be intermingled when you're creating and doing stuff like that. And I feel like when you've got that going on, you'll get to where you're going. Now, I've not got to where I'm going, so don't take my word on that, because I don't want to lead you astray. I don't want to take you some path and you be like, CB lied to me. He's talking about love and passion. It's all a fraud. He's a liar. I'm sorry. Just kind of spitballing here. We all want to be in the big rock stars living in a. You notice how much quicker I'm inking with this brush? I swear, this thing's amazing. And I really shouldn't be doing this because I'm not getting those nib lines. I'm getting something similar to it though, but I can't help myself. I enjoy inking with a brush. It's just so fun. It's so easy to do thick to thin, and you know, sometimes, you know, I've made some goobers. You know, like right here, I went thin here, but thick here. I probably should have started, and honestly, going a step further, shouldn't have used this at all. But ink pen would have worked just fine. Just my opinions. Let me answer some comments and zoom out so you can get a gander at my, inking attempts here. Let me cover this brush because I don't want to dry out. I love this thing. And let me take this and kind of wipe this off. Let's see. Way behind on the comments. Okay, here we go. Landon says, in reference to something I said way a while ago about my character, Dr. Terror, he says, Dr. Terror, that's a cool name. Yeah, basically, I'll be honest. I'm a big Doctor Doom fan, and that was kind of like my Doctor Doomish character. And originally, he was kind of inspired by Darkman too, because Doctor Terror's face was wrapped in bandages, and he probably had like a green overcoat or something, and he shot power blast from his hands, and and then here lately, I've rebooted him entirely. He's more of an original character than what he was before. Now he wears a mask and kind of like Victorian clothes, and he's got like this whole Lovecraftian origin that goes behind him. That drives him. In the service of his Lovecraftian god and that whole big bit. It's really dark, interesting stuff. We'll see how it pans out, because I first have to get the first issue of Wildcat Deadman Walking, not to confuse anyone. These are two different books. Anthology, Deadman Walking. I first got to get Deadman Walking going, to get that all lined out. But thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah. And Dr. Terror's full name as of right now is, I think it was something like Alexandre Thaddeus Terror, like Terra or something like that. I don't know. Don't be afraid to make a big black areas in the shadows. It can really add weight to the piece you're doing. This is something I'm trying to get better at in my own work. Okay, will do. Will do. Peter writes, drawing popular characters is how Landon blew up in the interwebs. It's been my plan as well to do more fan art since I'm moving away from just inking others, doing all the skills moving forward. Yeah, I think I feel like now I could be wrong. I felt like you got a lot of buzz when you did that big. It's not a collage, but I don't know what you call it. Where big, it's not a jam piece. That's not the right word. But you had all these different characters, all these different indie characters. I think that were on one page, and I think Pitt was in the background, stuff like that. That you this thing that you inked, and it went over really well. I really do believe that, and I feel like retro's gaining momentum. I feel like you've got this new project that's getting ready to be unfurled, unfurled. You know what I mean? It's getting ready to be let loose on everybody, and you've got this creative team behind it and stuff like that. I mean, you got all kind, and that's not the only project you're doing. You got a lot of cool stuff going on, and I'm expecting you to really uh, be on Planet Nine, here soon. If that makes sense. I'm not really speaking English, but I'm just saying I'm throwing praises out. Landon writes, I have blown up the interwebs. I'm trying. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Ba-ba-ba-bum. I haven't mentioned it yet, but I will drop what is now for the first time anywhere. It's an oil painting of Leo from TMT in an alley. Well, that's really cool. I love I have not done it in forever, and I was never that great at it to begin with. I love oil painting, and for anyone that's not oil painted before, and I'm not a professional or anything like that, but I just want to say that the cool thing with oil painting is the paint doesn't dry right away. It takes forever, and so you can mix the colors and just pretty much everything that people love about tablets and laptops and all that software that you can use, like Photoshop and whatever else, Krita, GIMP, Media Bang, whatever. Uh, Oil painting is that. That's fun, and I'm going to look up this TMT when you get done with it. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. It's going to be cool. But I got to look up Enclave Soul first. Let's see. Hope you will. You too, CB. Let's see. Peter writes, and he's probably been gone for a while, but he says, I do have to head out. Chores won't do themselves. Catch the rest later. At CB Smallwood is always engaging. Later on. Thank you, good sir. Appreciate you chiming in and hanging out with us. Landon writes in reference to what I was saying earlier about philosophy and about trying to focus on love and passion, just focus on your love and passion of creating comics or whatever it is that you're into. And not getting hung up on the particulars of how successful you are and how getting stuff done. I think that's what you're meaning. He says, I totally agree with what you're saying, CB. All right. We're finally caught up and I'm ready to resume inking. I've thoroughly, I don't know, I've been rubbing that, stroking that like that cat. And I don't know if it's Dr. No. What is that guy's name in James Bond who has the cat on his lap? Or stroking this nail like the cat from Inspector Gadget. What is that evil guy? The hand, the claw, Dr. Claw. Gadget. Ooh, I found something nifty I'd like to ink. I want to ink this really lame glove that I did. It's hard to find some good references for the gloves, and really this big block thing is pathetic, but that's okay. I think the cool thing is a really good colorist can come in, save the day, and um, make it look good, make me look good. Forget the glove, make me look good. You could tell when I laid these scratches down, I kind of like didn't know what to do. I'm just slopping it on there. I don't know how I'm getting ink all over me, but guess what? I am. This is this is happening right now. Yeah. Ugh. I have to fix this stand and all this other stuff. I was wondering, can you all tell that this is Bane in the background? I didn't add the head pipes or nothing like that because the way I drew him, it'd be kind of behind his head. But I'm going to try to find a way to squeeze those in there. And As far as the mask details, I kind of went with like somebody. I think this might be like the Arkham version or whatever from that video game. I just saw a Google image, a reference I pulled up for it, and I was like, well, that looks cool, you know. So I kind of drew that, you know, if that makes sense. If that makes sense. Let's see, talking more about the anthology. So I got a few interviews pulled up, lined out. I got like one that I need to get scheduled, and that'll get worked out somewhat soon. And then I got another one. A great friend of mine hooked me up with, and I should be on the other art casters. There's two art casters. One's the original, and then the other one is like the new flavor. So I'm going to be on the new flavor. That's not what they call themselves. I'm just saying. So, and that might be on. I think that's on Thursday. And so hopefully no technical difficulties, no whatever. I can't promise nothing because the universe honestly does conspire against me. The wackiest doodly things happens to me, and I do not know why. Some of it's my fault, but most of it, I swear, it's just crazy stuff. Just comes out of nowhere. And I can't explain why that happens. That prevents me from achieving something that is of the utmost importance, you know. That ink right there looks really thick, but I promise it's not. Depends on what angle you're looking at, you know. I want to get my. You ever notice how John Romita he's got like he does that sort of thing? I didn't plan on that. I just kind of did that because I wasn't for sure what to put there. So I'm just gonna do the John Romita Jr. thing, and I'm just gonna put these little jaggy things on there just for the fun of it, for the heck of it. Then I got this sloppy feathering or something. I don't know what this is about, but it's on there. Ugh, that's really bad. Coming along pretty good though, I think. I like how it's going. Landon writes, it's funny, Jeff Lafferty has been giving me crap for being late to a show, which I told him about beforehand, but you made me look good being almost 2 hours late. See, that's what it is. You know, I must have had a sixth sense about these things, and I was like, you know, I can sense that there's somebody out there named Landon who's giving crap, and so I gotta bring justice to the universe by being later. That whole thing was crazy because you know I knew what time, roughly what time it was supposed to start, and I actually, you know, I was like, hey, you know, I was telling the wife like, hey, you know, this youngin needs to go to bed. He needs to go to bed now because I'm going to try my best to do this live stream, you know, and like, okay, you know, so he's making arrangements, getting that all lined out, and you know, so 10 o'clock went, 11 o'clock went, and I was like, well, maybe they just forgot, maybe they got busy, or you know, I mean, like, you know, we all have day jobs, right? You know, so anything can happen. So I don't really get hung up on that type of thing, you know. So I just like, well, you know what, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to draw and work on this anthology, and I'm going to watch The Boys on Amazon. And I don't know when it happened. I didn't even hear my phone go off, but I took a moment to look down at my phone, and it was 2:35 a.m. or something like that, or 2:30 a.m. In the morning. I look down at my phone, and it's like the Jeff Lafferty's, the art casters was on, and it had been on for an hour. I'm like, oh my God, what happened? So I scrambled quickly to try to get on there, and they were really nice about it. You know, they very accommodating and stuff like that, and I really really appreciate that. You know, some people would have been like, "Oh, you're late, too late. You're late, too late. Late, too late, CB." No, there's like, "You suck, you're late." But here, we're glad to have you. So it was just a weird mix-up kerfluffle. I see what it was is they live in a different time zone. You know, they're you know, I'm in the twilight zone. They're in a time zone. Radar love, whatever that means. But they, you know, they're on mountain time. I think maybe, but mountain time. Yeah, you know, like out in the Midwest somewhere maybe. And so for them, what was like 10 or 11 o'clock was much later for me, and I just didn't know. I didn't know. Incomplete as. I love it. Incomplete as. That's me. All right, so where was I at? Inking wise. Incomplete assignment. Laugh out loud. Ah, yes. Little Avenger. Shoot. The ink already dried. Instantaneous. Everybody see these details unless I zoom in. Come on, camera. What are you doing? Behave. Behave yourself. Mm. Come on, get in there, ink. Yes. That's what I like to see. Yeah, not too bad. Messed up here and there, but that's okay. Remember that term, incomplete assignment. I'm trying to remember what that's from, you know. Would that be from that movie? It has a really cool B actor, but he's a actor who stars in this The Substitute or something like that, where I can't remember what the name of the movie is, but like he plays a substitute teacher or principal, and like the school gets infiltrated by all these cybernetic teachers, and they're killing the students, and so he fights the grade school math. Oh yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, I remember that. We used to have a teacher, and she'd be like, "That's an incomplete assignment. That's an incomplete assignment." I mean, this person was special because they I don't understand why would you, being a person that hates kids, go into a field where you work with kids all day? Why would you do that? What is the logic behind that? Both me and Will Avenger were blessed to be in a classroom with a teacher who hated children, who had absolutely no patience for children. Um, I mean, she's not a bad person, but like she just like she was just at the wrong job, and she would give you grief if you didn't know something that she expected or thought that you should know.
and she actually became counterproductive in teaching children stuff, because she was just so, yeah. Can't put it in words. But as a teacher, she got an incomplete assignment because she didn't understand the lesson plan. Oh, and by the way, Will Avenger, great news that a Mexican restaurant that shut down, it's being opened up again. Okay, as you know, probably. And yes, it does say that it is a Mexican restaurant once again, but they're gonna have Italian food. I'm so excited. Now, for some of you, be like, how would Mexicans know how to make Italian? I don't know what to tell you, buddy. When you go to Italian places anymore, you will see people that are Mexican working in the kitchen, so that they probably know how to make Italian food better than Italians. That's just how it is. So I'm excited to getting some Italian food, and I know this for sure because when I went to the Mexican restaurant up on the hill, I went and asked the friendly lady there. I was like, hey, this is gonna sound really dumb, but or that restaurant that closed, it's reopening. Is there going to be Italian food there? She's like, yes, yes, there's going to be, pizza, and, pasta. It's like, yeah, like yes, that's what I'm talking about. Good times. But I'm so excited about that. Now all we need is a good chicken place. All of our chicken places where we live at is dried up, So like if you want chicken, you got to get chicken from a gas station. Oh yeah. Having 15 nights, none and something sweet. We all just wanna eat, yeah. Hey, hey, wanna be a rock star. I hate how Nibs just dig in the paper. It's like using nibs is very violent. It's an act of violence in creating art. It really is. It's a violent way to make comics. I'm getting quiet again. I better entertain everybody. That's one of the reasons I don't do more of these shows. I mean, you've heard me opine about this stuff before, and I always feel like I let everybody down. When you just watch these things because I don't want you to be bored to tears. I've tried to find some good cryptid news and stuff like that, but I tell you what, Bigfoot, Loch Ness monster, all those guys, they're hiding hard. I don't know what they're hiding from. They're hiding from me. That's what they're hiding from. So I can't give good cryptid news or crazy weird news and stuff. Everything's from like 3 to 5 years ago. There's been times where I went and read some news that that I didn't proofread beforehand, and it turned out that it was just kind of recapping stuff from like the 70s. So that was lame, very lame. And also, like I feel like I should have some topics prepared beforehand and all this other stuff. I thought about doing some hot topics, you know, like some controversial things to talk about on the live stream. I swear, every time I talk about controversial stuff on my channel, people like that they nope out. You know, they're like, nope, that's not what I signed up for. Don't you talk about controversial things? And I lose subscribers. And I was like, dang it, yins are bound and determined to keep me from getting to 500, ain't you? But but I thought about it. I mean, like, you know, my mental junk food videos that I haven't done in forever, I gave up on them because I didn't really enjoy doing a lot of them because, you know, it's, you know, I'd have to tiptoe around, you know, instead of saying, you know, what I really think because, you know, I don't want to alienate my audience and I don't want people to get mad at me either because I have an opinion, you know. Um, and so like it hurt my videos because I couldn't be as eccentric or as loud and lambastic as I can. You notice a lot of YouTube channels that kind of do that bit, and they do really well. You know, and you know why would I want to do that stuff anyway? It's like, well, grow my channel and to get eyeballs on my comic, you know, and also to help all of you, you know, because I feel like I'm a really big believer in you know, the rising tide, you know, rises all ships, you know, be the tide that rises all ships, you know. And so as I go places, I want to take things all with me. Why not? There's plenty of room. There's plenty of room in this world. Yeah. Mm, 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 mm. But I have been thinking, you know, I need to get on the ball of making these old YouTube badges once again. Shoot, I'm butchering it now. I'm getting a little too happy with this nib. I hate that. You get too comfortable using the nib and then you get betrayed. And the nib will lie to you. Did you know that? Did you know that, gang, that the nib will lie to you because it will? It pretends that it's your friend because you can do amazing stuff with it and you can look really good inking, and then like you get a little happy with it and you forget, like, ooh, I shouldn't be using this to ink this particular line or this particular part of the drawing, and it betrays you. It lets you down. That does look metallic like, so I like that. At least I got that going on. I need to fix this though. There we go. Looks better. Well, Ranger Rats, I got those priest tickets. Gonna be awesome. It is. And, you know, I just realized, you know, that we're going to get to listen. I'm assuming, you know, they probably play a lot of their greatest hits and maybe some new stuff too, but we're going to get, you know, maybe like Living After Midnight, you know, nothing out the door, loving in the morning, and it's gone. You know, we're going to get that. We're going to get uh, Hell Bent for Leather, Breaking the Law, you know, all that good stuff, you know. It's going to be cool. Green. Oh, you know, I'm well, at least one of those things. I really hope that they play Green Monolishi. I don't know why I like it so much. Lennon writes, "Sorry, I'm listening. I'm just working also." Well, that's fine, man. You know, you don't always have to chime in. Well, I shouldn't say that. Then you won't do it. You must always chime in. But I understand when you don't. Have you ever considered just doing smaller campaigns, like maybe just ask for 500 or 600 to build from there? Uh, yeah. I was thinking about that here lately. I was thinking that me asking for $1,500, which isn't much. It really isn't much. But for me, asking for that is part of the symptom of the disease I suffer from. In terms of wanting success now and stuff like that. And I guess maybe I've seen other campaigns like have like a $1,000 or a $1,500 goal, and they go on to, do astronomical numbers. And I know I'm not going to get astronomical numbers, at least not yet, not anytime soon. But I guess I kind of fell in that trap, because I'm still inexperienced and I'm still learning, I'm still figuring this stuff out. And I think that, that's part of my problem. And I started thinking here lately, and it's related to what you just said, in a positive sense. Like, hey, on my first campaign, I raised $600. On this one, me and my awesome team of friends have raised $560 so far, which is really good. And it's like, I started thinking in my head that, what, that's actually pretty cool in a way, like you have managed to raise, $600 one whack, and at another, got to 400 and something, almost $500, so there are people that want to buy your stuff, that want to buy your work. And so, the thought process I had is that, maybe at some point in the future I could do like one of these Patreons or subscribe stars or whatever. And, I think maybe if I work hard, I might be able to get $20 a month, maybe. I don't know. But I'm not really dead set on that, because again, that's getting back in that unhealthy mindset. I feel like that stuff would just kind of snowball on its own, when the time is right. But as far as like what you're talking about, because this is related, about doing, asking for 500 or 600 in the future on these Indiegogos or Kickstarters, is that that's probably the way to go. Another reason why I asked, for such a big number, well, it's not a huge number, you know what I mean, is because I worry about mischievous expenses, like the shipping and handling continues to go up, and I want to make sure that I have enough money to ship. Because like I have to pay for the shipping for the books to be shipped to me, and I have to pay for the shipping to ship the books out to the backers. And then there's like the fear of like, what if something's damaged and stuff like that. You want to make sure people are taken care of, and they get what they're supposed to get. And so that's another reason. But I like your train of thought. I think it's more the route that I need to go in the future is, let's lower that, because after that $500 or $600 is raised, if that was my goal, then everything after that is just gravy. I don't know. I felt like I kind of talked out my butt just then. Sorry about that. Will Avenger writes painkiller. Yes, painkiller. And for those that don't know, that's a really good Judas Priest song. Listen, gang, the wife is calling me. I'm going to decline her phone. She's going to be back. I'm going to answer these comments, and then we're going to get out of here. Lanny writes, I guess it's better to do a 500 campaign that's successful than that can exceed that number than do a $15 one that fails. That's exactly right. You're right. I tried a few years back doing a campaign for a graphic novel, and it failed. And we tried raising 3,000, but only raised a little over 300 again due to a lack of following at the time. And that's what I'm suffering from too. And but we're going to get where we're going, and I'm sure from a few years back, you're way much better off now than where you was at, and that's where I hope to get. It's way better off. So we're at the end of the show. I just want to thank everyone for tuning in, for supporting me, supporting the team, and for the team supporting me. And I hope that I support Yuns and everyone that's tuning in. And I hope Yuns had a fun time on the show. I hope that we had some interesting topics to talk about. I want to encourage everybody to, for everyone that's been on the, live show, and whether people are on the live show or not, but just saying, everybody on the live show pretty much has a YouTube channel and stuff like that to check out. So I encourage us to do that. That those of you who are viewing live and being the wonderful voyeurs that you are watching the replay. And I just want to say that I thank you for tuning in. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button, and share this video and all that wonderful stuff. Remember to be the tide that rises all ships, to be the change that you want to see. And, I believe that if you're ever in dire straits and you got righteousness on your side, mighty forces will come to your aid. Carpe diem, my friends. And until next time, I will see you in the next video. As soon as I hit the outro. But I think I should play the campaign first.